Well, from alternative fuels to alternative lifestyles. In the town of Murwillumbah, on the north coast of New South Wales, there's a community which follows a way of life far removed from that of the typical Australian. Now, of course, they're the Hare Krishnas. On Palm Sunday, 14 of them boarded their mobile temple and set out on a pilgrimage that will take them to nearly every town and city in Australia. Elizabeth Egan caught up with them in the central Queensland city of Rockhampton, where the road was far from smooth.
The Hare Krishnas have come to town. They've been on the road 3 weeks and have collected 12,500 signatures. Signatures they hope will convince Soviet authorities to release Hare Krishnas imprisoned in the Soviet Union. The Krishnas were excited about their week-long stay in Rockhampton. It's been 6 years between visits. With a population of 50,000 plus, the devotees were convinced they could add at least another 5,000 names to their petition. But what they hadn't counted on was the icy reaction that awaited them.
You sure you couldn't just help out? And 1 million signatures, we'll send it to the Russians. We'll get a lot of press.
I'm an atheist. My signature any good?
The law of the state is not necessarily the law of God. You could pass so many laws.
Undeterred, the Krishnas took their cause out to the suburban shopping centres, the one public place they were allowed to perform without restrictions. If nothing else, the Krishnas are experts when it comes to attracting attention. And while their cause may have met with some success in this particular shopping centre, they got the cold shoulder just about everywhere else. The devotees were given a firm no when they tried to get into the local schools. They were banned from the city's new mall. Even the town's college wouldn't have them on campus. And then there was a controversy surrounding their public meeting in the local RSL hall. The meeting did go ahead, but it nearly didn't. When the RSL realised it had rented the hall to the Hare Krishnas, it insisted on meeting with them first, just to make sure the hall wasn't going to be used as a political platform. So with everything eventually smoothed over, the Krishnas prepared for their free vegetarian feast, but not before serving up an entree of Krishna philosophy. They prepared a spread for 200. 19 turned up, and not all of them were after spiritual enlightenment. Perhaps you'd like to tell us why you came along tonight.
Good free vegetarian food. It's hard to come by. Better than I can cook.
Is that the main reason why you came for the food?
Yeah.
Rockhampton is a town which really hasn't seen the Hare Krishna movement, and also it's all the people here are generally not so much with it to understand that, you know, the world today is like a global village. So it's just a matter of education. Unfortunately, people aren't educated so well in these country towns to understand that their little world of Rockhampton is the all in all. That's what a lot of people think that.
The Hare Krishna movement is an illegal institution in Russia. Those caught practicing the mystical Indian religion are imprisoned. According to Amnesty International, 35 Hare Krishnas are being held in prisons and psychiatric institutions in the Soviet Union.
Some have been imprisoned in camps, and some have been taken to psychiatric hospitals. Some have been administered sort of mind-suppressing drugs. So things like that, you know, and to us that's very discouraging and depressing.
The Krishnas' drive to have their fellow Soviet devotees released captured national attention with this single. It was written by 13-year-old Prahlad, whose musical career began shortly after he wrote a letter to Mikhail Gorbachev asking for the release of his Krishna brothers and sisters. At this moment, Prahlad is in India, gathering signatures which will be added to the list his fellow devotees get on their trip around Australia. But if the reception in Rockhampton is any indication, the drive to get 1 million signatures by November isn't going to be easy. After a week in the central Queensland capital, the Krishnas could only drum up 300 signatures. But there's thick skin under all that cheesecloth. They say they won't stop until their fellow devotees are free to sing and dance in the streets of Moscow and Leningrad. And MacArthur-like, they left town with a promise to return. Rockhampton, they say, needs some education.